Hello, Hivelanders and beauties and beats. I'm looking out my window at a sunny winter wonderland. It snowed most of yesterday. I felt as though nature had given me the approval to switch over from my fall jazz to Christmas jazz. Yes, I am one of those people, a Christmas nut. The 25 days in December just aren't enough. We took down our fall and Halloween decorations on November 1st and broke out just a small amount of Christmas decor, not much. Just our winter-themed pillows and a themed throw blanket, a pine cone, and a wooden forest scene, a beautiful glass mosaic snowman. I got on a trip to the New York Zoo many Christmas seasons ago. Okay, so maybe we haven't decorated for Christmas as much as winter and the change of seasons. I will post some frosty, sugared photos of nature in the coming weeks, but today we have some autumn offerings for those of you reading the blog. I know most of you are still watching leaves and not snowflakes fall, so I will oblige and pretend it's still autumn for me too. You may have noticed my absence on here the last few days. There is a poetry book I've been neglecting. Inspiration had me put everything else aside and get to it. I am now paused again as I wait for the proof in the mail. If all goes well, it should be published by month's end. Fingers crossed the cover looks like it does online and the typos are few, the formatting acceptable. With the weather and what I have been doing chit-chat out of the way, let's get to the other things this blog is meant to be about: poetry and philosophy. If you have been following me about in the virtual world, then you know I do my best to enact a Taoist philosophy in my dealings with other beings and the material world, our shared world. I do my best. Taoism is not my religion, but rather a how-to limit suffering, celebrate diversity and change, and to keep the egos complaining to a distant roar. Some days I do better than others. The more I meditate, remind myself of Taoist philosophy, and spend time writing poetry, the better I do. The more peace, bliss, and creation I find. 81 Poems from the Tao is my own attempt of making meaning of the Tao Te Ching and linking its verses to my own psyche. Let me present verse 7 today. The heavens and the earth exist for what is found within. They endure as vessels, allowing time and material to enter, mix, and pass through. The master is a vessel, filling with and containing, never grasping at, never holding on to. Desires enter, mix, and pass through. Fulfilled by the Tao, all the master touches is blessed. Now, if you're reading the blog, there's also a link to a spoken word that I recorded a few years back with some music. Like I said, Taoism is not a religion for me. I commune with the divine. I don't define or claim the divine, but I commune with it through meditation, or maybe a quiet walk in nature. I remain quiet, not necessarily nature. There are many ways to that which unites us, ways back to our source and with the flow of its creation. I am not here to limit or insist on your way, but if you are reading this, you likely have a body. Likely, not necessarily, with all this AI floating about in the webosphere. If you are currently wired and amorphous, what follows is not for you. Skip ahead and keep your wired clutches off my voice. If, on the other hand, feet and torsos, fingers and toes, your mind resides in flesh and its scaffolding is bones and cartilage, you have a body? Then settle in and listen up. We have a tendency to over-identify with our bodies, confuse them for our entirety of existence. No matter what you think, and you do think, your mind, not your brain, but your mind is infinite, and if you allow it, ever expanding. But your body, finite and contained. I concede, capable of some expansion, but not always to your benefit. No, you are not your body. You are not your thoughts either, but that is another blog. No potato chip gourmands and couch spuds. I'm not saying that makes it okay to misuse your body and or not move it. You have to keep your vessel in good shape because not only is it your material container, it is also your instrument of reception and perception. You think, therefore you are, says Descartes. But if you want to continue being you gotta move your body. I don't know if you know this, but there is an election going on. Please don't hate me because I'm human, but I too have picked a side. It pains me that you and I may see ourselves divided over November 5th. Why is it we can't all get what we want, our say and pick of overlords at the same time? Cosmic communism. Pulled from diaphanous dreams, a veiled sunrise breaks through the flimsy day. Clouds are thick on this morn, just enough light dins an alarm, dissolves the meaningful immaterial, replaces soaring albatross and cooing doves with industrious and territorial crows. Clever, clever birds, black and not gray. No need for bright plumage in the low light. Coal reflects silver. Reach for dark roasted stars in a cup, brought to ground and muddied, to illuminate the shadows. The distant solar is not up to snuff. For some reason we've tilted. There's no flocking backwards. Time to take our turn at being cold, so opposite sides get a share of the heat. Cosmic communism. We could just migrate, be free like the birds, learn to share and not just delegate. But then there's no freedom without peace. We'd rather take our turn than learn to get along. I guess the world must have its poles if it is to maintain balance, not lose all our hot air to an unforgiving and unbearably cold vacuum. Tough place, though, to be in the thick of things, always quarreling and thinking horrible things about the other side. Sometimes it feels like there is no escape, yet here on this turbulent and impossible to conceive minute planet, we can choose to hang out in the dim corners and cracks, or plant gardens and weave creation in sunlit but remote fringes. A paradise paved inhabit the cracks, the fringe, where the flowers grow. We are small, microscopic is gigantic when we compare ourselves to the universe. But there is no limit to our creativity and ingenuity when we keep the vessel fine-tuned and our receivers open. When we find purpose in the crevices or edge we fit best in. Weave away and see what comes our way, Highlanders. Soar above it all, beauties and beats. Be gentle if you can. One more somewhat Halloween-inspired poem to follow. It's a new one. I'll see you next time. Spider, come to her. A spider was not meant to swim. 8 spindly legs do poorly as fins. Come to her instead. Perhaps our leggy lady could float upon the surface, her limbs turned to oars, rowing until her fur, waterlogged, plunges to the sea floor, an anchor amorphous. No, a spider was not meant to swim. 8 spindly legs do poorly as aquatic fins. A spider was given threads to weave and to create. Such beauty even the garish papillon comes to her, recocooned and clad in silk, before consumed. A spider was given strings to take to the air and fly and soar, to transcend above her octapedals over the amuse-bouche lofty in crowd, seated at the most elaborate table, shrouded, stranded, and static. The spider was meant to conduct the current of imperceptible breezes high above the scented pedaled. No, a spider was not meant to breaststroke or butterfly. 8 fluffy legs quickly sodden in an aquatic milieu. A spider was meant to rise above the flow, feed upon garden slipstreams, weave lacy mandala, enlighten, let that which rises above come to her. Words and images are my own. 7 is published in 81, Poems from the Tao. Cosmic Communism is published in Monsters, Avatars, and Angels. Spider Come to Her is a fresh composition and is making its limited debut here on Hive. 81, Poems from the Tao, and Monsters, Avatars, and Angels are available in paperback or digital through Amazon and your local libraries and bookstores.